In this video, I'll be breaking down how to use Paint.net to use the basic tools provided to become a Roblox designer. I'll touch up on how to use majority of the tools and plugins that I use to create clothing myself, and overall just the basics. So if you want more videos like this, like and subscribe. If you need any help personally, join my Discord server, link in bio, and let's get started. Alright, to start off, you're going to want to come over to the Paint.net download site. If you can't find the website, it should be linked under the description, listed under as Paint.net download. So pause the video and catch up with me. Alright, so you want to come over and look under download. There should be two versions named Microsoft and .pdn. You're going to want to click .pdn and come over to the free download now, and there should be a link under it. Go ahead and pause the video, and when you're finished downloading, come on back. Now that you're done with that, you're going to come over to this YouTube video that will be in the description, listed under as Paint.net plugins download. This is basically a YouTube video. She shows you how to download all the plugins you need. Go ahead and knock that out the way and come on over back. When you open up your setup, it should look something similar to this. Now what you're going to want to do is come over to your left, and you're going to see File, Edit, View, Image, Layers, Adjustments, and Effects. To simply explain, when you come over to File, you could create New. You're basically open up a whole new layer template at the top. And if you have something copied already, say I copy my background, and then I press Control New, and I press OK. It's going to have the same size on the canvas, and all you had to do is copy and paste, and it's going to copy it to that new template. Alright. Moving on, open. When you press open, it opens up your files, and you get to choose what do you want to open. Anything that you have saved, whether that be a PDN or a PNG. Now, when you come over to open recent, it's self-explanatory. It shows all the recent stuff that you opened, and you could go back. But this will only show if you actually save, which you had in the past. If not, it will not show up here. I'm going to skip over acquire because you're not going to use that at all. Control S or save, self-explanatory, is to save, but there's a difference between a PDN and a PNG. Now I will explain. I'm going to make a new template at the top, and I'm going to paste this in. Right here, it's only one layer. As you can see, this would be considered a PNG. So if I was to come over here and save this, it would be untitled PNG, and I'll save it. Okay, and I come over open recent, it will be saved as a PNG. Now, when making clothes, you usually have multiple layers. So let's say I have two layers open, and now I come and I try to save that again with multiple layers. I will press save as, and as you see, it changes into a PDN. And basically what a PDN is, if I open it up, it's a Paint.net file. So it will save into multiple layers and not just one PNG itself. So to fix that problem, usually when you're making clothes, you want to just flatten all of it together by pressing save as, come to save as type, and go to PNG by clicking this and press save, and it will flatten it like this, and that's how you get a PNG. Save all. I don't recommend pressing save all at all, because you might have something at the top that you don't realize, and you don't want to mess up in your saves. Moving on, we're going to come over to edit over here, and it's really good to know your keybinds. Undo is Control Z, redo is Control Y, to cut is Control X. And basically what cut does, because I know a lot of people don't know what that is, basically you're going to come select something, whatever, Control X, and you cut it. And basically what it does is it's removing it, but also copying at the same time. So if I paste it, it's going to be right there back. And now a lot of people make mistakes by selecting something and pressing delete. Now what that does is just changes the whole thing into black. So if you want to delete something using the box select, definitely press Control X and not delete. Moving forward, copy, Control C, self-explanatory, Control paste, self-explanatory. The rest of this stuff you're not really going to need to use, honestly, so we're going to just skip over all of that, but make sure you learn your keybinds. Moving forward, you got view. You're not really going to need to click this at all unless I guess you want a pixel grid. or if you want your ruler, but you could just click it from right here. I don't really use this at all. It goes to zoom in and out, but you don't really need to do that. You could just come over to your bottom right and zoom in and out right here, and use a scroll wheel right here to move if you need to. Moving on, image, you're gonna use a lot, mostly the resize and the canvas size, but mostly the resize. All right, to explain the resize, first you have your width and your height, which is gonna be the main thing that you're gonna need. But when you change your width or your height, it's gonna change either or together. And then you have your resampling, which also changes the way it's resized. So for example, let's say I want to change my width to 1000. I just want to make my picture bigger, right? Now, if I make it bigger, as you can see, it's now blurry now. And that's one thing that a lot of people have mistake, especially with using the 2x template and they resize it. And now it's blurry. And that's a big problem with paint.net a lot of times. But to simply fix this, if you want to rescale something bigger and you don't want it to be blurry, you're going to Control Z to go back. All right, you're going to go back to your resize. You're going to come to resampling. You're going to change it to nearest neighbor. And then you're going to come over here, type 1000. And as you can see, the lines are perfectly even. There's no blur and it's big. Now, and if I want to resize it back down, as you can see, boom, edges are sharp and everything. Smooth, smooth, smooth. All right, moving forward. Now that you're coming over here, you have your layers. You're not really going to need to use any of this really, because you could just come over here and come to your layers. So let's talk about this. All right, so you have your layers right here. First, you have add a new layer. When you press it, boom, it makes a new layer. Then you have your delete layer. You press it, boom, now your layers are deleted. Now you come over to duplicate layer, it duplicates the layer that you have clicked on. All right. And now when you click merge down, it merges the top layer to the bottom layer that you have selected. Now, if you click move up layer, you're not really gonna need to do that because you could just click and drag it up. So you're not really gonna need to use any of these two. You can also stretch it to the left or the right by clicking on the edge. And when this little line pulls it, drag it to where you want, or you can stretch it down or up. And if you ever lose your layers or any of your things, you could come over to the top right and click this. Now your tools will pop up, your history will pop up, your layers will pop up, and your color wheel will pop up. All right, adjustments. Now I'm not gonna get into all of these in this video. I'll probably do it when I'm actually making a clothes so I could show it better. But I'm just gonna show, for now, I'm gonna show hue and saturation. And basically you could change the hue to the color wheel, whatever you want it to be. And then you could change your saturation to be lower, or you could change the saturation to be higher, or you could change your darkness to be lower or higher. And then you come back over here and you have your highlights and shadow, which you're going to use a lot. You could put your highlights down or your highlights up, or you can put your shadows down and your shadows up. And you can also put your clarity, which you're going to use a lot to make your clothes bolder to stand out more. And I'm going to get into that more in a different video. Moving on, you have these effects, which I'm also not going to get into this video because it's better to demonstrate on the clothes itself than actually nothing. Moving on, you're going to come to tools. If you cannot find your tools, come over here to click on the top right and click on it should pop up. Now first you have your box select. What your box select does is basically it makes a box, and whatever's in this box, it will only be selected, or you can only change things inside this box. So say I wanted to draw and I just move my cursor through here. As you can see, only inside the box is being affected, and that goes with anything, erasing, whatever. Anything in this box will only be selected. The same thing applies with the lasso select. It's basically the same thing, but it's a free select version. And same thing with the ellipse select, the circle select, same thing, but it's a circle. Moving on, you have your move select and move selection. Now this is very useful, especially when you're using box select or any type of select. Basically what happens is with the blue arrow, you could move whatever's in the box like this, or you could stretch it which direction you want to, and by pressing shift and click on the corner, you could stretch it evenly however you want it to be. And now with the blue arrow, you can move this select however direction you want it to be without affecting what's actually inside of the box. Then you have your magic wand, and basically what your magic wand does, it's gonna select the nearest color that you select. Let's say I want to select this square right here, so it's gonna select the nearest color. As you can see, it's selected all the squares that are this color now. And if you press shift click on anything, it will select every nearest color to it. As you see, now it selected the bottom one as well. Moving on, you have your paint bucket. Self-explanatory. When you click something, it's kind of similar to the magic wand. It paints whatever is the nearest color. If you press shift click, it does the same thing as well. Brush, self-explanatory. You click it, you drag, you draw. You can change your brush size over here. But with this, you have your hardness. And now with your hardness, the harder you turn it up, the sharper the edge. As you can see, it's more pixelated. Now if you turn it down, now it's more feathered and more softer on the edges. You can also come over here to change your color on the color wheel and select. And same thing applies with the pencil, but the pencil is just one line. And you're not really going to use this at all, honestly. Boom, you're going to use this a lot, which is your curved line tool. Basically, you can make a line, drag it, and then you got these points where you could basically change the way it forms. You could drag it down, you could drag it up. You're going to use this mostly for shading and stuff like that. You have your recolor. Now the recolor is similar to the paint bucket, but it's like drawing with a paint bucket. So let's come down here. Let's say I want to only color these brown squares and not this. I'll come over to my recolor and I'll just click and hold and drag. And as you can see, it's only coloring the brown squares to red. If I want it to be the tan ones, do the same thing. Color picker. You just want to come over to any color you want, or if you want to pick the same color, just click on it and come over to the color wheel and it'll choose exactly what color you clicked on. Eraser, same thing as the draw, but it's eraser. And if you want to blend in stuff, you're gonna have your hardness down a lot of time. If you want to blend in stuff, if you want sharp erasers, again, turn your hardness up. You're not gonna use gradient at all, really, and you're not gonna use pan, and you're not gonna use zoom.